Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how are you today? In today's video, I would like to talk about the 10 criteria for buying emergency food. And I know that a lot of people, they say, well, I already know about that. Or, well, did you ever think about this? Well, yes and no. And a lot of people are new to prepping, so they don't know a lot about what we know. So a lot of what I speak about is kind of like a refresher course for not just us, but so new people can learn as well, okay? The number one thing is when we're buying any kind of emergency food, and I'm not just talking freeze-dried food or MREs, okay, I'm talking about just food that you can buy in the grocery store. You want to look at shelf life, okay? But even with dealing with shelf life, you can take ordinary food, okay, like rice, instant mashed potatoes, quick oats. And if you repackage them correctly with Mylar bags, oxygen absorber packs, food grade buckets, you can make that food last and be preserved for like 30 years. So when you're looking to buy emergency food, you want to make sure that that food has a very good shelf life, or repackage it so it does have a very good shelf life, okay? The next on the list would be nutritional value. Now, when you're talking about nutritional value, okay, you don't want to just be buying anything just because it tastes good, okay? You want to make sure that there's enough protein, not a lot of sugar, say, okay, because, how am I going to put this without, while trying to be nice, and you know what I mean? Not a lot of fat, okay? You want good quality food. Okay, let me just put it to you that way. You want good quality food. The next on the list is ingredients. You want to make sure that you're actually getting and buying food and not chemicals. Because with a lot of foods, you're actually buying chemicals, processed garbage. You want to be buying actual food. Okay, so look at the ingredients when you're buying emergency food, okay? Now, the next thing you also want to keep in mind is storage space. A lot of times I hear from a lot of people, I have nowhere to put anything. Okay, well, did you ever think of this, or did you ever think of that? Now, they'll say, well, I don't have a basement. I don't have closet space. Me neither. So what do? Well, I bought the shoe organizers that I hang over the doors of my linen closets. I have things under beds. I bought shelving that I have in my kitchen that you guys saw in other videos. I did rearranging. There's so many different things that you can do. Look on Pinterest. That's what I did. And I found a lot of really great ideas. The next thing, which is number 5, is portability. Most emergency foods will come in a box, a bucket, okay? Now the bucket makes things convenient, right? Since you can grab and go. Whereas the box may become like cumbersome, okay? Should you have to bug out at any point, it's important to be able to grab emergency food and go. So this is when I say repackage food. So say you want to make a 72-hour food grade bucket, okay, make your own MRE, okay? Maybe I will make a video doing that, making my own MREs, okay? You want to have a food saver? Do you have a food saver? Okay. Get a 5-gallon bucket or even just a bag, like a waterproof bag. And we'll make it our own MRE. And I'll show you how to do that, all right? Portability is important. Now, weight. Hang on just a minute. Okay, now weight. Now this ties into the one that I just did, the portability, okay? If you cannot grab a bucket of food because it's too heavy. Now, because remember, if you're going to be bugging out and you already have your bug out bag on your back and you got to grab a 5-gallon bucket full of food, that's a lot of weight to be carrying around. You know what I mean? So you may want to consider other methods, okay, of storing and accessing your emergency supplies. Now, pay close attention to the weight of the package that you are buying. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be throwing a 30-pound bag of rice into your 5-gallon bucket to be bugging out with. Generally, a lot of people will be thinking granola bars, maybe some cereal, soup, that type of thing. That's what you should be putting in your 72-hour emergency MRE that you will be making to put into your 5-gallon bucket of your emergency food to grab and go that goes along with your bug out bag, okay? Now, the next one is variety. No matter how much you may like a certain food, say meatloaf or beef stroganoff or whatever, you're not going to be wanting to eat that day in and day out and day in and day. You're going to be like, you know what I mean? You're going to get sick of it after a few days. So what do? Variety, right? Variety is so important because you're going to get what's called food fatigue. So you don't want to buy too much of this and too much of that, because then at the end of the day, and that's all you have, you're going to be like, how much of this can I possibly eat? Right? So then that's when you got to keep up with your recipes. And you got to get your imagination going. Think of how many recipes you can make with canned chicken, canned tuna, pasta, white rice, instant mashed potatoes, ground beef. How many, even if you have to think of ways to, because at one point in time, maybe there's not going to be any meat anymore. So think of ways to make very good and delicious vegetarian meals where there's only vegetables involved. I can give you some recipes that are vegetarian and you'll be blown away. So you got to think of these things, okay? But variety is going to be so, so, so important, especially during an shtf situation. Trust me. Now, number 8 is cooking methods. There may come a time when you cannot cook on your glass top stove. So, have different ways of cooking. Outside, inside, or whatever the case may be. Do you have a fire pit? Do you have a camp stove? Do you have a propane grill, like an outdoor grill? Whatever the case may be. Don't just have one way of cooking. Have maybe 2 or maybe 3, but always have a backup and then maybe another backup, because you just never know, okay? And then the next one is versatility. Now, some may think that this is an odd criteria, really, to at first let me explain. Let me just explain, okay? Can you combine some of the dishes to make a new dish? Did you ever come home late at night from work and you forgot to take something out of the freezer to defrost it? And all you have left over in the fridge is leftovers from the night before, the night before, and the night before. Are you creative enough to mix all of that together to make a delicious new meal? I've done it. Can you do that? So, it's just, I'm trying to make you think. Okay. Versatility. I'm just trying to make you think. Okay. Say you have like leftover Chinese food, chicken teriyaki. Okay. And then you have eggs in the freezer or fridge or whatever, because I freeze all of my eggs. Take those out, scramble them up, add some rice. You just made chicken fried rice. So I'm just thinking out loud here, okay? So, you just got to think. Now the next one is the last one, and it's taste. And taste is very important, as we all know. What does your spice prepper pantry look like? I'm not just talking salt and pepper here. Is your spice prepper pantry insane like mine is? And if you haven't seen it in a while, I'll do an update video on my spice prepper pantry. As everyone knows, I'm Italian. Of course, my prepper pantry for my spices is going to be insane. So, I want you to keep that in mind. Make sure that your spice prepper pantry is well stocked in all aspects. And I'm not just talking salt and pepper or even just garlic powder. I'm talking spices so you can make all different kinds of different tasting foods from all over the world. Like one night I'll make Italian food, but the next night I'm making Indian food. Then the next night I can make my own Chinese food. So, it's just, you really gotta think outside the box. Sean loves when I make Spanish food. So, think outside the box. Make sure you have a lot of spices. You'll thank me later. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay warm, stay positive. Keep prepping. And as always, fearless. Bye.